people, obviously, you know, you've got the episode coming out with a live Q&A, but it'll be stupid of us to miss what's going on this weekend. Everybody knows it's the big fight. It's Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz, the rematch in Saudi Arabia on Saturday night. I'm a big boxing fan. So if I didn't do something like this when people were telling me to, I'll be stupid. And you know what? I had to bring my brother on, Myles. He actually fought as an amateur as well. He loves boxing through and through. So we've been raised in it really from young. And Ty, obviously, I'm not going to say he's the biggest boxing fan, but he knows enough about boxing. And we grew up on the same estate that we were all fighting on the streets, really. It was funny. We all had little fake boxing gloves and all that. So we actually love boxing from young. So it'll be stupid not to talk about the fight. And we're just going to debate, obviously, what we think might happen, our predictions. And then, just obviously everyone's got to enjoy the fight on Saturday. So, yeah, Myles, I had to get you on for this. Obviously, Ty joined us as normal. Big fight. First of all, are you excited for the fight? Because I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, out of Joshua's fights, this one's the one that I feel like this is for himself. So there's a big controversy in two different styles, and that's what makes his fight interesting.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, there's definitely a level of excitement because there's that unexpectancy. We don't know what's going to happen. We know Ruiz has had the better hand of him in the first fight, but it's such a mixture of two different styles. You don't know what style they're both going to apply in the second leg. So it is a very interesting one for all boxing fans.
It is. I think even because the funny thing is, before the first fight, he was meant to be fighting Gerald Miller. So everyone knows, obviously, with Gerald Miller, he failed the drug test, and then Ruiz got drafted in. But no one really knew. What I think I liked is that no one really knew much about Ruiz. So when the first fight was happening, you get these people walking down the street like, Josh is going to knock him out, round one, round two. You know how many people were saying, yeah, Josh is going to knock him out, round one, round two, round three. But I said to them, do you know what? He's Mexican. Name me a Mexican that can't fight. The guy's had nearly 120 amateur fights and only lost nearly 10. That tells you something about him. So do you think people got misled into the first fight thinking that AJ was going to knock him out, and now they're excited because they're like, oh my God, this guy can actually fight? Because I think you would know yourself that Andy Ruiz, he could fight. What were you thinking before the first fight? Because I know now we're ahead of the second fight. That's a killer question.
Before the first fight, I think you got two different types of boxing fans. You've got boxing fans that look into the statistics of things, and you've got the boxing fans that just go with like, oh, they'll watch boxing because it's on and they'll see what's happened. So a lot of people will jump on that bandwagon. They've seen Joshua knock people out, so they just expect he's going to knock people out. But if you look at the statistics, I mean, for example, like the amateur careers, I looked at what was going on before, and I thought, I'm not going to underestimate this guy because Andy Ruiz had 105 amateur fights and I only lost 5 of those. So
there you go.
From when you come from that pedigree and you've won gold medals in Mexico and so forth and come up through the Olympic rankings, you know that they've got a variety of style to cope against a variety of different fighters, and they're proven pedigrees. Same as way Joshua is as well, but Joshua's had 40 amateur fights.
Yeah, he started quite late, didn't he? He started like 18, 19.
Yeah.
Didn't know, he started like 89, whereas Ruiz has been fighting since like 6 years old.
That's long then.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
That is long.
Yeah, and when you fight,
you learn better, innit, when you're younger. So.
Yeah, for real.
100%. He's learned a lot since he's younger. I think his size, obviously looking at him, he doesn't look like the guy that can box, innit? What did you think when you saw the first fight, or just when he was walking into the ring, or when you saw like he was going to be the guy fighting?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I heard nothing of Ruiz, so...
You thought AJ was going to knock him out?
When I saw him, I was like, wow. This guy's big, blood. And then obviously, when the fight was going on, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. It kind of worked. Set your alarm bells going,
like,
didn't it?
Ooh, this guy's got a bit, you know.
Yeah.
And then I just seen him punching him up. I was like, no.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because for his size, you wouldn't think he'd be as good as what he was. But I knew, because I watched his fight before, because going into the first fight, Andrew Ruiz had lost a couple of fights before that to Joseph Parker, Muay Thai fight, who AJ obviously beat. But Ruiz gave Parker a really good fight. It was 50-50. It was in New Zealand and all that. So obviously Parker got the result with the judges. But when I was watching it, I saw his hand speed and like his combination punches, and I thought AJ might have trouble with this. But people weren't believing it. People weren't seeing it. So then when the first fight happened, and you could see his variation, and he weren't panicking, and his punch resistance, I think for this second fight, his confidence is going to be even higher. Because Ruiz only had 6 weeks to prepare.
Yeah, his confidence is going to be higher. But the thing is as well, when you sort of go back on looking at the two different fights, you say you looked at Ruiz and you looked at his build. He was small, he was slightly bigger. I mean, looks very deceiving in boxing anyway. But if you look at the past fights, Joshua has always struggled against shorter fighters like Takam.
Yeah.
Anyone that's down there, they cause
Povetkin.
problems. But yeah, they cause problems for him. Anyone that's at head height with him, you can keep him on the end of that jab and you can see where they are all the time. But people that can have the ability to slip underneath his punches, that's when he gets himself into trouble. And like you just stated there, it's like Ruiz can let his hands go like a middleweight.
Yeah.
They don't. Everything's just fluent about it. There's the fluency's there. So Joshua's missing one, and he's there with three over the top, round the side, and he's getting caught with him. That's where he found problems in this fight.
Yeah, because he just covers up. And I think one thing with Joshua is that he's very... And people, if they ask me who my favourite heavyweight is right now currently, I think Tyson Fury, we'll go into this another time, but I think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight. He's tall, he's got size, he can box. The only way you're going to beat Tyson Fury is if you knock him out. Because if it goes to 12 rounds, you're not going to beat him. He beat Wilder and he didn't get the judges' score. But the thing is, with Joshua, he's got the size, he's got the height, but he's very robotic, very mechanical, very... That's it. 1, 2, back in his shell. He's not really like Ruiz, combinations, which I think, because he hasn't fought anyone really like that, can't say he handpicks his opponents, but you could say something like that. But he didn't know how to react when he sort of got 1, 2, but then the 3, 4 came. And when Ruiz was throwing in combinations, he didn't know what to do. And I think that's what Joshua's going to have to change for this fight. Have you looked at Joshua since training at all? You've seen videos of him recently, innit? He's slimmed down,
yeah,
isn't he?
Slim. He's got skinnier.
Yeah.
But every time I've watched Joshua, like in the late rounds or when he gets hit, he just stiffens up.
Too much muscle.
It's mad. Like he just stiffens up. I'm thinking, what are you doing? And I'm
can't move. He's so robotic and mechanical, but he's got so much muscles. It's like after round 5, you think, oh my god, he's just like a statue. Like,
it's weird,
right. And I think he's gonna have to remove a lot of that size. That's one thing. I think he's a blown up bubble, man. Like he needs to get, because he's not loose, he's not relaxed. He's so physically strong and big.
But he's never relaxed. So he's got too much muscle. So lactic acid just builds up.
Yeah, literally, it just builds up.
Yeah, and if you look at some of his fights, obviously he's a big powerhouse, and he does the basics very well as a double jab right, but you never really see him mix it up like someone like Tyson would have, where he slips around at different angles and he hits from the side. So he does the basics very well, but I think he generates a lot of power from his legs, and I think after sort of round 5, his legs start slowing down. Everything else around him just starts slowing down with it. And like you said, Tyson Fury has that ability to be elusive on his feet and move around
for 12 rounds
and box himself into a victory. Whereas I feel like that's what he's lacked sometimes, and I think that's what Ruiz exposed with him. So I think he's got a cut. Like I said, he looks like he's cut a little bit away, and it seems like that could be his game plan, where he feels like he's going to have to box and move
for 12 rounds.
More. But you know, like although he hasn't done this much in the professional circuit, he must have done it before in the previous in amateur, because a lot of amateur Olympic boxing, it's all boxing and moving, and accumulating points as you're going. So a part of him does know that style. So it's just seeing if you can revert back to that style in the night.
Yeah, very true. Because even looking at the punch stats from the first fight, Joshua only landed 26% of his punches. And you would say someone like him is quite accurate. He doesn't really just throw loose. But there, he was throwing a lot of loose jabs. I was like, there's no oomph in it. There's no zip. It's like, what are you doing? So going into this fight on Saturday, obviously we both watched the first fight in full, what do you think Joshua needs to change? And what do you think Ruiz will do to show that this wasn't a fluke? So first of all, what do you think Joshua needs to change? I'll come to you first.
Obviously, I think that's what. Obviously, the 7th rounds and the later rounds when he just stiffens up.
Yeah.
Like I think he needs
size definitely.
Size number 1. I think he needs to keep on the move and just be wary of him, because I think I don't know if he underestimated him, but he weren't expecting like that type of fighter, innit?
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely underestimated him, I think.
Obviously, when he got knocked down, he was like, "Oh shit!" Like and then he didn't expect him to come forward again.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, he actually knocked Ruiz down, but Ruiz was so smart that he didn't get up straight away. That's one thing I'd always teach people getting into boxing. You always take the 8 count and then get up. Whereas when Joshua got knocked down, he got up straight away. His legs weren't recovered. He was like, do you know them ones? And because you're so big, if you're carrying that much size, don't rush yourself up. Give yourself the 8, get a breather, and then get up. And like Ruiz did, and then you're like, your brain's there again. Yeah. What do you think, Joshua, other than size? I think a lot of people have said about his muscle, and I've been talking about that for a lot of fights now. So other than that, if you take away the size, skill-wise, or obviously boxing is about a game of chess, what do you think he needs to change in this fight, considering he only landed 26% in the first fight?
I think he needs to be, first of all, be more respectful of his opponent, which I think naturally is going to happen anyway. But I think he needs to box and move and concentrate on making his legs elusive and boxing and moving and keeping his guy on the end of his punches and not sticking in there for a long time. Doing that and for that amount of time where the knockout will come to him.
Yes,
not chase
yeah,
knockout.
yeah.
So punch and move, punch and move, punch and move. Keep him on the end of his long reach, and then at the time when he sees that Ruiz is hurt, is try and capitalise it, but not staying there too long, because if at any time he misses when he's in close quarters, which is the mistake he made in the first fight, Ruiz is coming with three over the top, bang around the side, and he's catching him. And because he's small, he can't see them come over the top, and this has been a problem. So if he applies that style and thinks about going the longevity, going the long way round to the victory, and then if the knockout comes, then taking it naturally rather than looking for it and doing what the fans expect him to do, because he's got a different kind of fire in his hands.
So don't perform for the crowd, perform more for yourself as well.
For yourself, and just box the guy until it comes to you naturally. Don't look for the knockout early doors, although it's always dangerous for him to get in late rounds with fighters.
Yeah.
But I think Andy Ruiz, he'll try and go in with like what he done the first time around. I think he will try and go in because it's obviously worked. But he
didn't go in gun ho the last time. He just put the pressure on him and put him on the back foot.
Yeah.
Joshua never normally fights on the back foot.
Nah. And that's the thing, like, if Joshua is on that back foot moving around, then Ruiz is going to find it harder to cut him off and get closer to him. So is that going to change the game straight away? I don't know. So maybe Ruiz has got to mix up in terms of like maybe cutting him off a little bit quicker if he does move on the back foot. But I do think Joshua's got to go in there, moving on that back foot, sticking and moving, and letting that knockout come to him. Yeah.
Okay, because I think flipping it around, Ruiz went into that fight, no one expected him to win. Mm-hmm. He has a good record. He's 133, only lost one, which was to Parker. So everyone knows he can fight. He's got 20 KOs. He's won that first fight when no one expected him to. Now he's got to try and prove it again. Obviously, he won. Do you think he's going to be as hungry? Because now he's got the nice car, he's got the nice house. Do you think he's still going to be determined to win again?
Yeah, I do think he is.
You do?
Yeah.
Because that's my only worry.
Nah, I think he's going to be hungry because he wants to keep the belts, isn't it? Yeah. Obviously, he wants to keep the belt. And was he the first Mexican heavyweight? Yeah. So, obviously, he wants his name to go down in history.
Yeah, and he could fight Wilder if he wins.
Exactly. But I just think, like, from AJ's point of view, like, he's under so much pressure that I'll rate him more if he wins. Like, if he wins, I'm going to rate him even more than I did.
Okay.
Because he's under so much pressure. Yeah. Like, he's fighting someone he knows he's been knocked out by.
Yeah, so psychologically it's already in your head.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine that, going into fight someone you know you've been knocked out by.
Yeah.
That's long.
Is it the end for AJ if he loses?
His legacy, but not for big fights, I don't think.
Good answer. You have to fight Tyson Fury. Yeah. I think you have to fight Tyson Fury. If you're Ruiz, coming to you, obviously, Ty thinks he'll still be as hungry. I think we both believe he will be hungry, but do you change much of your Ruiz in terms of game plan and style for the fight? Do you just do what you know worked?
I don't think change much. I think just be prepared for if he just goes in there and does what he normally does, but just prepares for the fact that Joshua might be boxing on the back foot, so you might have to chase him down a little bit and get around his
long jab.
Yeah, he's reach.
Very long jab.
I think naturally he's already going to go through that in his head, but I think he's going to go in there just as hungry as the first, because like they say, these Mexicans are willing to die in the ring, and that's it. They don't know no other way.
Yeah.
And their peoples get behind them and back them, to the hilltop. So I think he's going to go in with a very positive mindset. I think, like Ty said there, I think a lot of the pressure is on Joshua, because there's talks of people saying, is it going to be the end of his career? Which I don't think it'll be the end of his career, because I've seen people after losses carry on boxing like Price. So I've seen them still carrying on, have fights, but it's like, are you going to miss that peak time in your career when you could go for that WBC and then, be boxing for the sake of it, rather than getting it at that peak when it's your peak time to go for it, So that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important, because, although he's still young, he wants to like nip this in the bud now and then try and
fight Wilder and get all the big fights. No one's unified, and that's the thing. I think with this heavyweight division, obviously we had Tyson, we had the Holyfields, we had the Lennox Lewis's. Like, we just want there to be one champion. Like, I don't mind that Wilder is a champion. He's a good fighter. He knocks out people. He's exciting. And then obviously there's this fight with AJ and obviously Ruiz. But then there's Tyson Fury in the middle. So I just think by the end of 2020, one thing I do want to see is, right, the winner from this fight, Tyson Fury and Wilder fight, and then the winner of them fights come together. So the winner of Wilder Fury fights the winner of AJ and Ruiz and get it done. And there's one champion on the face of boxing. If I was Ruiz, do I think he needs to change much? No. The reason is, I think he's trained 6 weeks for that last fight. He has Mexican DNA, but ultimately he knows how to box. And no matter what he looks like in his side, he's clever. And Joshua is also clever, but I don't think he's as clever. And I think one thing that stood out to me massively, I watched the fight back about 5-6 times now, and when Ruiz gets knocked down in the third round, he waits and gets back up, but then they have an exchange after, and Joshua catches him with a big left hand, and like he wobbles, but then he don't go down, and like I think his punch resistance, now he's felt Joshua's power psychologically as well. I think his punch resistance is stronger than Joshua's, because Joshua's been hurt against Dillian White, he's been hurt against Povetkin, he's been hurt against Klitschko. I've never seen really like Ruiz go down or he's really been hurt. Do you know what I mean? He's got that solid base and he can throw and he's got hand speed. So if I was Ruiz, I wouldn't really change too much because I think what worked for him in the first fight could work again, because I don't know if Joshua can adapt many different styles in this time of 12 weeks of training. Yes, he's slimmed down and yes, he's going to be quicker. But then again, people are saying, yeah, it's going to make him win the fight. But then if you switch it, with his punch resistance, he'll be the same.
Yeah, I feel like
because he might lose that.
Like exactly what you're saying. It's like what's already made him what he is. He's changing that, and sometimes it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it. But it's like he's been forced to
reconsider his plan. You get what I'm saying?
And it's like that's not what got you where he obviously got through the Olympics and stuff like that, and he's done well in his amateur career. But in his professional game, you know, like with most of his fights being knockouts. It's like that's what makes Joshua what he is, and now you're taking that element away and saying, "Well, do you know what? I'm going to have to try something else." But you haven't fought anyone in between to now trying it again in the very fight that you lost. You're now changing the style and you're trialing that in a fight with the same guy that beat you. So you haven't had any fights between to say, "Do you know what? Let me try and move about a bit more. Let me try and mix it up." You're doing that against the same guy. So you're trialing error against someone that's already beat you. So it's a risky one. It's a risky one. A very risky one.
The good thing is as well, actually, for all the UK viewers, is that it's actually 8:45 on Saturday night. So it's not actually that late, which is sick because then everyone can watch it. Obviously on Sky Box Office and so forth. Ultimately, there's only going to be one winner. And this fight, in terms of boxing, we've been following boxing for a long time, obviously, is that the element of excitement is what's actually drawn me in. Not the element of assumption where everyone did have that in the first fight. I actually went to bed on the first fight. It was funny actually. I said to Claudio, AJ's probably is going to win, even though Ruiz got a chance. AJ's going to win, so message you in the morning. I woke up to messages like 5 different people. Wow, different emojis, and I was like, he must have lost because no one will be sending them for no reason. I went on Twitter and I can't lie, I was excited. I was actually because I've wanted Joshua. I do think Joshua's a good fighter and he's got to where he is because he's done what he's done. But I think he's overhyped and I don't think he's the best heavyweight out there. So I was waiting for someone to come and expose him because I don't believe he's as good as what the general public think he is. Now there's a chance for him to show again that the public are wrong and win those titles back. But I still think if he wins this fight, he was expected to win it in the first place. So him saying, people have got to bow to me, it's like you were expected to win the first fight anyway. So you've got to fight Wilder and Fury and beat them both before you then get my recognition. So I think if he loses again, I think he's in tatters because I think he should be winning the rematch. But then Ruiz is certain. Do you know what I mean? Like in hindsight, he should be winning the rematch. But everyone's like, "Oh my god, if Joshua wins, he's one of the greatest." It's like no, because you were expected to win the first fight.
Yeah, and it's such a blessing to him to actually get the rematch because it could have been a situation where Ruiz was not willing to fight him again and he wanted to go straight onto the big fights, and he's giving him that chance to box against him again and redeem himself. So this is what I mean. This is the big test.
Yeah, it's the big test. So
he's Bookie's favourite as well, isn't it? Joshua.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I looked at that yesterday.
See, why are you surprised though?
I think it was like 2-1 Ruiz. And
why are you surprised though?
Joshua was still favourite to win it. I'm surprised as well.
Why? Because I like Ruiz and I think he can beat him again. But I just think in hindsight, I think with this rematch, I think Joshua in my head's gonna win. But why would you think that Ruiz would be the favourite? Just because he's beaten him already?
Because he's beaten him. But it's not like he just nipped to win. He knocked him out. You know, he knocked him out. He finished him off. He outboxed him. He completely.
Ruiz, and
but he beat him in every single angle.
That is one bit that stands up. Is that he outboxed him. He didn't just knock him out.
Yeah.
Ruiz actually outboxed him. When you watch the rounds, Joshua was never comfortable fighting on that back foot as well, and then Ruiz was just throwing them little punches. You don't normally get outboxed. You thought he got knocked out, he got caught with a punch, but he was actually getting.
He got a boxing lesson, and he got out strengthened and knocked down. So he beat him in every single way that you possibly can.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that he was. Ruiz, and Joshua was the favourite for this fight.
Yeah. Got a random question for you both. The fight's in Saudi Arabia. Is heat going to play a factor? Ruiz, Mexico, Mexican.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Joshua British. You wouldn't have thought so.
I think there'd be plenty of air conditioning in a place like that.
Still be air conditioning, but still the natural environment. Because Ruiz,
open venue. No?
Yeah, it's an open venue. And Ruiz actually thinks that it's going to be favour him because the fight is in Saudi Arabia and it is going to be warm. And it's going to be.
Knew that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be hard. That's all I know.
Yeah, because the longer the fight goes on,
fighting in that heat is hard.
It's going to get tiring, isn't it?
Yeah, it could do. It could do.
Yeah.
I ain't got a clue.
It could do, and if it does, then obviously Ruiz is from a country that's got more hot climate.
Exactly. He lives in a desert,
will
man.
he be able to cope more because of the condition to it?
Yeah. Okay. And final things then, because we spoke about a few different things with that. Predictions for the fight. Bold. It could be knockout. It could be points. It could be both of them get knocked down and someone wins. What do you think is going to happen?
I reckon they're both
this Saturday night.
They're both going to go down. I mean, it's a hard one to call, but I think they're both going to go down.
Okay.
And then I don't think it's going to go all the way. Like I said, I don't know who's going to get it.
So he's sitting on the fence.
I'm going
big.
I don't know, because I don't want to sort of contradict what I've just said with the two boxers. But I reckon they could both go down.
There's only one winner, Myles.
I think Joshua's more likely to cow power in late rounds, if I'm honest with you.
Okay.
I'm going Joshua.
So both go down, and then possibly Joshua come back with a win, the knockout.
Okay. No, I'm going Joshua.
You're going Joshua. Stoppage or points? Or knockout?
Stoppage. No, well, yeah, knockout.
Knockout.
But I think 9-11.
Round 9-11. Good prediction. I like that. Solid. Right. I'm going to be honest. I want Ruiz to win, and I hope he can. But I do feel that Joshua is going to win this rematch. I think it's not going to be early.
It's going to have to, it has to be a knockout.
And I'm going to go.
Fight, boy.
I'm going to go round 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
AJ win. I just feel that Ruiz has won the first fight. I don't know. I hope he's as hungry, but I don't know if he will be. But I just think that I can't. It'll be weird picturing Joshua getting knocked out again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's happened once, but when I think about the fight, I'm like, can I see Joshua get knocked out again? No. But like Lennox Lewis fought Hasim Rahman. This is like back in the early 2000s, and Rahman knocked out Lennox Lewis in Africa.
Clean.
Yeah, clean. And then they had a rematch, and Lewis knocked him the fuck out. Yeah, in the rematch. And I can just keep having visions of Joshua redeems himself like Lewis did and knocks out Ruiz. So I'm going to go round 5 to 7, Joshua. But don't be surprised, none of us will be, if Ruiz does the same thing again, knowing that he can hurt Joshua. But I think it's just going to be an exciting fight. I think it's going to fully be an exciting fight. Boxing's in a good, exciting time at the moment. If I could have one final say, I want Tyson Fury and Joshua to definitely fight before the end of their careers. I think sell out Wembley, it'd be a huge fight. The public are torn. Some people like Fury, some people like Joshua. So, yeah, really. That's what I think. What have you got? Anything final thoughts?
Yeah, you just had me in a daydream now. I was just thinking about it. I think both go down. I think both go down. But I think Joshua will bounce back and get it in round 6. So
okay.
I just think the power.
So middle of my prediction.
The power will, and I think he needs to think about wrapping them up quickly. Like moving about, letting that knockout come to him, but doing it sort of earlier on because the later rounds are going to be dangerous for him. So I'll say both go down. Joshua round 6, but don't throw all your money on it because I'm no expert.
Put a tenner on mine.
Yeah.
Joshua 5 to 7. Then you can send me half when you're rich.
The odds what I just predicted would be worth a lot. That's what I'm going to say.
But yeah, it's going to be a good fight. So yeah, everyone just lock in on Saturday. And then what we're going to do actually is probably on the next week's podcast, try and get a quick episode just capturing obviously our thoughts on the fight. Even if it's just me and Ty, if Myles can't make it. But yeah, you've heard our predictions. And everyone enjoy the fight. Yeah.